Welcome, our fellow lovers of love, and thank you for joining us on yet another excursion through the stream of consciousness, down the river of tranquility, to fill the lake of life with love.
And good evening, our fellow lovers out there. So join us for a candid dive into the messy, real, and relatable corners of life and relationships. This episode tackles tough questions. Why do some men avoid single moms? What happens when a 52-year-old teacher can't land a job? We'll explore relationship crossroads, like a husband's baby fever clashing, wife's no kids stance, wife's med school dreams threatening a marriage, 400-pound spiral testing a partner's limits, plus parenting woes. Why won't they just go to sleep? Work gripes, bad breath training, anyone, and intimate confessions. Think sweet nothings. Yeah, I'm not saying that one at this point. And spicing up the pictures you send to your loved one. Yeah.
Yes.
It's unfiltered, it's honest, and it's here at Late Night Love. Yeah, probably should have read that one through before I. Yeah, my writer just doesn't realize that I can't say that on the beginning of the show. I can say that at the end of the show, even though I'll probably paraphrase, even still, because we do try to be family friendly. But if you want to see what
it's not family friendly.
If you want to see what the writer wrote, you can go to latenightLove.us and you can find all that information fit in there. And let me turn off my do not disturb thing. On my do not disturb thing.
Very nice. Okay.
Because I left that out there. We left all kinds of stuff sitting out here tonight. I was working in the studio just before the show. It's a little different.
We're early tonight.
Well, no, actually,
technically we're late.
Yeah, we're really late.
We're like 23 hours late.
Yeah, we're really late is technically what happens. But
yeah,
we had a family event last night, and so things take precedence. And we just did it late rather than early. So that's how it went. Okay. So we're just gonna jump in tonight because I'm working on restructuring the show a little bit. Just kind of the structure, how we do it, but I'm getting extra cameras and some studio stuff set up. So, yeah. So, but that takes some time, and I haven't had a lot. So we're going to start off. We've got some life questions here because these are things that have just kind of popped up, hit into my one of my feeds or there or another somehow. And so this is kind of a question that's popped up. And it's maybe you want to ask.
Why do men not date single moms?
Well, one, that's an overly generic statement. Lots of men date single moms.
Yeah, they do.
It's not the question is, why do young men not date single moms? That's the real question. A 35-year-old man isn't going to have a problem dating a single mom. They've been through the life's ringer. They know how life goes. So it's only the people who have been isolated and protected or inexperienced who have that, or those rare people who are just,
don't like children.
Well, not necessarily don't like children. They have a distorted view on on the realities of humanhood, shall we say?
Oh,
we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Hey, everybody has a right to want what they want, and if you happen to find the person that fits, more power to you.
There you go.
But you're greatly reducing your numbers if you're expecting everybody to be as pure as a clean driven snow, especially if you're not.
Oh.
That type of thing.
What, they're looking for Madonna?
Yeah, who knows what they're actually looking for.
Oh, mommy.
Yeah, who knows?
Huh.
They may not be looking for anything. They may just have a distorted view of the world.
Okay.
And so, but the reason some men don't, and there is a logic to it.
Dating single moms?
Yes.
What?
Of why you don't do it. Because you can end up catching feelings for a kid that gets pulled out from under you.
Oh.
Or you end up because courts are weird these days. You can end up being financially responsible for someone you're not responsible for. So those two factors kind of pile onto each other, and it becomes difficult for people who lack experience or lack self-confidence, or or have resources that other people might try to obtain for some reason or another. Yeah. If you actually have cash, and dating a single mother is more of an issue than if you don't. You don't have anything to lose if you don't.
Yeah.
Just saying. And
Okay.
and some people think
All
of
right. All right.
that. Now that you get to a point in your life where you just, it's just money, I can earn it again. But if you're under 30 and you've got yourself a nice nest egg, or, because you've worked hard, you spent 5 years working instead of going out, and now you're in your late 20s, and all the available women have, theoretically, have passed that you don't. And so that can be a difficult adjustment.
Okay.
Especially here, if you're like in the Bay Area and you got a bunch of these young tech bros who've been locked up in their offices and whatnot behind a computer for most of their young life. They have a distorted view of the world. And so they're looking for someone who's like them, but there just isn't. Mm-hmm. You guys are looking at it, but it takes some time. Most of them get over it, right? That's one of those things. This thing happens every now and again, right? Every time there's a little baby bump, you get, 20 years later, you get all this weird distorted view of it, because I don't worry about the ones that don't want to date single moms. Worry about the ones that do. That's my suggestion.
Why?
Because why are you going to worry about the ones that don't want to date you anyway?
Oh, there you go.
They're not in your real house anyway. So what do you care?
Okay.
Don't worry about them is my suggestion.
Sure.
Don't let them spend time in your head. There's plenty to do. Focus on those. Let them be alone. It's their problem, not yours. Because that's where they're going to end up. Even if they do find somebody, eventually they'll push them away because they're overly needy, overly self-centered, and they're going to end up alone anyway. So let it be. That's a script you can write, man. It just is. If you're that self-centered, you're that self-focused, then your relationship is, whatever relationship you find, is bound to be in trouble right from the start. It's just a matter of time. Unless you work on yourself. But again, there's that self-centered, self-focused thing. Okay. We're going to move on to the next life question. And I didn't put this one in the work questions because it's not really a work question, even though it kind of is.
Okay. I'm 52 years old and no one wants to hire me. Why? Female teacher.
Yeah, and this is the thing. If you're a female teacher, if you're a teacher even at 50 and you can't find a job, it's something with you. You may have to move, even go to the next town or something, but teachers are in high demand. It's a job that's always hiring. So if you have any skills at all, you should be able to find one. So maybe it's how you're presenting yourself. Maybe it's your interview skills. Maybe it's, maybe you're walking in with the cloud of doom over your head. And when they have options, they're going to choose someone that doesn't have a cloud of doom over their head. It's just what's going to happen. But, look for other opportunities. Go look at the online schools and see if you can become, look for those opportunities for teachers. Make sure you keep subbing, substitute teaching, to keep yourself current, but just keep looking. Maybe refresh your resume, refresh your interview skills. It's a different world out there, so you may have to. But my guess is it's something you're doing. It's a resume thing. It's an interview issue. Because even 52 is not old for a teacher.
No,
No.
it's not.
and there's teachers that are in too high demand. Maybe you need to try a different school district. Maybe you need to try a different town, the next town over. But you should be able to find. So I would examine yourself, examine your resume, how you put it together, maybe update it for the modern era. You're still using the same basic resume you've used for 20 years, and that's not going to work now. Your interview skills may be lacking because you haven't needed to use them for a long time. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would do. And then look at becoming an online, a mentor at an online school. One of the kind of like a contract work, but there's lots of online schools that need those kind of people who can help the students who are struggling in certain subjects. So if you're really good in a single subject, you can kind of contract with a couple of different online schools and keep yourself busy that way.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So we're hopping into relationship questions. That's kind of the intro. We're just moving on tonight, aren't we? Yeah. All right.
My husband revealed to me that he may want to have children someday. I don't.
Yeah, and they're 30, so she's 30. It's not like...
She would kind of know by now.
Yeah, but, in 5 years, people can change their minds. Then you don't. Don't let it be a problem until it's a problem. There's my suggestion. Because one, he says he may want to have children someday. He's 32. That may mean he actually is thinking about wanting to have children.
Maybe. He is thinking about it, obviously.
Yeah. That's a difficult one because those are the kind of things that, those are fundamental life differences. Wanting a family versus not. And there's no right or wrong answer here, but those are catastrophically opposing.
Those are deal breaker. That's a deal breaker right there.
Yeah. Unless he only kind of sort of wants to have a kid. Yeah. I mean, there is that he'd be nice. For him, he'd be nice, but he's not going to, doesn't. I regret it a little bit, but it really depends on how strong his desire is. Mm-hmm. But don't let it be a problem until it is. They both may change their mind in 5 years. In 5 years, they could be having the exact different argument. Her biological clock's ticking and her hormones is kicked in and she gets the thing and he's gone, you know what? Never mind. I'm getting old, the knees hurt. Why do I want a kid? I'm just saying, this is how, marriages go.
This is how it goes, people. Yeah.
Yeah. It could get worse. It could get better, or it could become completely opposite.
Yeah.
That's just, you don't know. And in those 30s, you are both changing as individuals. You're no longer in your 20s. You're kind of solidifying. But that solidifying means you getting a clearer picture of what your future wants, what you want to be in your 50s, 60 years. Do you want to be a family person? Do you not? How important is your career versus your life? Theoretical work-life balance. You get to decide what that balance looks like. And now it's starting to come into view for a lot of people. Some people want to travel. Some people want families. There's nothing wrong with either one. It's just, it becomes clear in your 30s. Starts to solidify. And so if they solidify in the opposite direction, that's what you call growing apart instead of together. And that's just sad, but it happens all the time.
This is just one of the things.
Yeah, this is one of those things where marriages can end not because of some catastrophic event or
no,
just because you've literally grown apart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Both want something fundamentally different than you did 8 years ago when you got together, because some people say you were too young. I don't necessarily buy that, but it is a risk. But it's a risk at 35 too.
It is.
Yeah. So, okay.
Okay. My wife wants to separate because she thinks she can't get into medical school if we're together. She's afraid he's going to be a distraction.
How much you want to guess that she's using medical school as an excuse?
That's what I was thinking.
And she just doesn't want to admit that.
Yeah.
And
She doesn't see him in her future as a doctor.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. She doesn't see him in her future. That's
Yeah.
yeah. If your husband is a distraction rather than a support, that means your marriage is broken already. Your partner should be your support system, not your. And she doesn't see him that way, for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't see him that way. Maybe he's a blue collar worker. Now she's got off into a doctor, and who knows? Maybe he's a plumber and a doctor, and she can't wrap her head around that. He doesn't, maybe he's a bit of an oaf, and she's tired of it, but whatever it is. Or maybe she's actually being honest. She can't do two things at once. She can't focus on medical school and a relationship at the same time. It's not impossible. But yeah.
He would be that. I mean, it would just have to be agreed upon. He'd have to be the major support role, and he would be in a support role the majority of the time. She would not have a whole lot to give to him.
That's what
the next 8 years.
That's what everybody. But that's everybody who goes. Someone's going into medical school. You know that going in, right? If someone has a desire to be a doctor, you know that even after medical school, you're kind of secondary, right? Especially if depending upon the type of doctor they are. They're on call all the time. They could have a patient that needs their immediate care and drop everything that they're doing and have to go and deal with it, depending upon, type of doctor they are.
True. Babies.
There's a whole long list of them. Surgeon, gastroenterologist, anesthesiologist. You just run down the list. Maybe they work in the ERs. Maybe they're a trauma surgeon. Who knows? Maybe they're a heart specialist, a brain surgeon. Who knows? And there's a big accident. Off they go. And even if you're just a family doctor, sometimes, especially if you're a real caring family doctor, sometimes you got to deal with a patient right now. They're in the hospital. You got to go deal with them. So, there's no advice for this one. There just isn't. But this is one of those questions is believe what she tells you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if she's not being completely honest, she's not seeing you guys together. And try to have that honest discussion with her. Ask her what it really means. Because my guess is there's something deeper than that, than because of a distraction. That doesn't make sense.
No.
Your spouses aren't distractions.
No.
Okay.
Now, this woman has she said confusing friendship. He won't initiate communication. He gives mixed signals, and I don't know so she doesn't know where she stands. Does this friendship have any future? Now, this is online only.
Well, then you just let it die if it's going to die.
Let it die.
Yeah.
It's one-sided. You don't need that. There's plenty of fish in the sea out there that would actually initiate conversations with you.
Well,
and you know that.
But not everybody has the ability to initiate. They don't want to bother people. There's all kinds of reasons they might not. But you would kind of know. They could be on the spectrum and have issues with initiating conversation. It's give mixed signals that could be socially awkward. So it's not quite as cut and dry. But my guess is, where does she want it to go? What's this over? Is this, are they part of a gaming community and they've kind of developed this quasi friendship that really is just an online gaming friendship?
How did you know?
Because that's where a lot of these online friendships come from. Because you go on a couple quests with the person, and so you've got this friendship, but realistically, the friendship is only in game. There's no outside friendship. It's just to share a common interest, play well together. So when you're online, you play together. It's not it's a friendship, but it's not. You're companions. It's like it's no different than if you're on like a football team. There's 50 people on a football team, 55, 56. In college, there's 100 people on the football team. You're only friends with 2 of them. The rest of them, they're your teammates. You play well with them. You get along with them. But when you go home, you only talk to 1, maybe 2. It's no different. And that's just not your 1 or 2. He's the person who you use them for what they are. They're the person you go and play a game with. You have fun during that period of time. When the game shut off, you're not. It's kind of like, think of it like more like a work friend, right? Outside of work, they're not a friend because there's nothing else to do. But inside the game, they're a friend. So just leave it at that. That's my suggestion. Don't spoil the online friendship, the game friendship, looking for a real world friendship. Honor the friendship for what it is.
Okay.
And just let it be. You'll be much happier.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. My husband looks down on my job. How do I tell him this hurts my feelings?
Just tell him it hurts your feelings. As calmly as possible. Don't make it about you. Try not to cry because men hate tears. It does weird things to how we think. So just tell them that you're trying as hard as you can. You understand that, it's whatever it is. It's a simple job. It's, maybe she works part-time and it's again at some, boutique or something. And he's a construction worker working on building the, highways or something. And so he comes home and he's talking the way he would talk to his friends. Doesn't mean it that way. But until she can tell him without becoming, and this is where it's difficult for women, and I completely understand. You're upset and you come in and you start to tell how your feelings and you all get emotional and you start to cry. And because you guys start to crying, we feel like we're attacked. And so it gets all weird. Everything gets sideways. And and it's one of these things, it's nobody's fault, but it's because we're just humans trying to get through the world as best we can, right? We're all victims of biology at this kind of thing. And so as you try to approach this as emotionless as possible, because that's how he's going to understand it, and be blunt. Say, I'm trying really hard, and when you talk about when you talk about how easy my job is or whatever it is, be clear exactly what makes you upset, right? You can't just say, you
look down on my job.
You look down at my job. Be specific about what he says that makes you uncomfortable, that makes you upset. And then tell him why, which is because I try really hard and it may not be a big job. It may not be complicated, but it's mine and I try to do it the best I can. And if you do that, he'll understand because he really doesn't want to hurt your feelings. He really doesn't. He's trying to relate with you the best he can. That's how he relates with the people at work because that's how men are and, to each other. But, we also tell us, hey, stop it. It also gets to the point where we tell each other to knock it off. I used to have this Ukrainian boss, and he used to yell at everybody just out of course. It wasn't anything personal. It was just how he does. And, hot summer day, there's no air conditioning, we're working stuff, and he's yelling at me. I stopped the forklift and go, why do you keep yelling? I'm going to do what you ask for. Why the hell do you keep yelling at me? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. And, and so you can have these conversations. It's just, stop. What I'm going to do, what you need. So why do you have to yell at me? He didn't realize because it's just how it was. It's just how he was. He came in from the old Soviet Union and how the world was. And he didn't know any different. Till someone pointed out, dude, you don't need to yell at people. You can just tell them. I get it. Some of these, we're working with day workers and sometimes So sometimes it's being a little aggressive is needed, but it's not always needed. There's some people you can just say, hey, can you take care of that? Yeah. And he's often done it, and so learn the difference. So that's the thing he needs to do. He needs to learn the difference, and you need to help him learn the difference because he's 29. He should be at the age where he can understand this. She's 24. And so she's still fragile in her self-confidence on attacking the world. So just tell him. But this is one of those things where you've got to tell him as manage your emotions as best as possible while you discuss it. Because it's, it's the tears. They do weird things to us. So
that's going to be a rough one.
Yeah, it is. Now, the tears can come after you talk about it, but try and get that first thing out without being overly emotional. Best acting job you can pull.
Okay.
Because tears do weird things to us. And so if you can avoid those as long as possible, the better off you are.
All right. This one is heartbreaking. My wife is spiraling, and I'm tired of covering for her. I need her to get her weight under control. But we've been down this road before, and it always eventually falls apart. How can I help her see I'm serious and salvage this? She is 400 pounds.
Well, what do you mean covering for her?
Buying her food when she asks, not doing what the doctors say, and saying, oh, it's okay, it's okay.
Well, that's not covering, that's enabling. You're tired of enabling her. Well, then stop. You go get her what the diet she's agreed to with her doctor, and that's what you get her. You can't stop her. She's a grown human being. If she wants to go off and get her own stuff, she can manage. But if she can't, then she's going to eat what you and the doctor and her had agreed to. Because there comes a point where you're enabling her is only hurting her. This is nothing. Forget about your relationship. This is about her health at this stage. There's nothing else.
Nothing else
else is relevant.
Yeah.
Whether if it requires the end of your relationship to save her health or for you to no longer be a part of it, of making it worse, if that's what it takes, sometimes when you love something, you have to let it go. Now, I'm not saying that would be your first choice. Don't get me wrong, but I am saying you have to be willing to do that. That has to be on the table. Otherwise, you're not being serious about no longer enabling her. You have to stop enabling her. It's not because if she's going to destroy her own health, you just don't play the part. Don't play your part. Make her do it herself. You get her everything she needs. Whatever the doctor, her doctor, or the nutritionist, whatever they say, whatever agreement she comes up with, keep them relatively short, something that's doable, like a month. Don't say, hey, for the next 6 months, make them smaller. This is what we're going to do for the next month. This is your diet for the next month. Forget 6 months. That's too long. It's too long for her. Make it a month. This is what we're going to do for a month. Then next month we'll come up with the next plan. And you just make her stick to it for that month. If she wants to break it, fine, but she's going to have to break it, not you.
Yeah.
She's a grown human being. You can't force her to not go get herself something, but you don't have to do it. You do everything you can to support her healthy choices, because this is no longer about anything but her health. She doesn't take it as seriously as you do, then that says all it needs to say. And for your own mental health at that stage, you have to think about moving on. Because your mental health will start to spiral next.
It will.
And it already has, which is why he's posting. He's at his wit's end. But stop enabling her. And that's going to be hard for you because you obviously love her. So otherwise you wouldn't enable. So, okay.
I'm no longer attracted to my husband. I don't know where to go from here.
But did he get a weight problem, or is it she's just kind of
just bored?
So they found in a rut. The bad thing about these things is they're hard to break out of. Because even once you do, then it's hard to reconnect. So what do? You know, I always start with these things is finding yourself first. You can't repair a relationship until you've repaired yourself. So it's not focus on yourself. It's not what I mean. You got to find out what's wrong with you. Maybe it's depression. Maybe you guys have grown apart, like we talked about earlier. You know, couples have just kind of grown apart. But you need to have a strong foundation for yourself before you can go off and fix or not your relationship. In order to do that, you have to be strong. You have to be confident in yourself. Then you can kind of move forward. So focus on yourself for a little bit. Doesn't take long, 6 weeks. Don't spend years doing it. It's not something that, you know, there is time of an essence because you do have another person to think about. But take some time to focus on you. Figure out what you really want, what's really wrong. Because remember, your spouse always kind of gets the blame for things that are wrong, even when it's you.
It's true.
You know, no,
it's just being human.
Yeah, it's human, and so it's you know, your husband's annoying you or he's ignoring you, but really you're in a bout of depression and you're not approachable. You know, so these things, you know, these are two things can both be true. You know, these attitudes can compound on each other. It starts to spiral, and next thing you know, you've grown apart. Not because anybody's done anything wrong, just because nobody did anything to stop it. Likely out of love. So where do you go? Look in the mirror for a little while. That's my suggestion.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
My wife told me that she doesn't need a fourth child, meaning me, after I opened up about a painful situation I'm going through. Marriage over?
You know, and then you ask why men don't share their emotions. Because this happens far too often. When they do finally open up about something, they get shot down. And she viewed it as a child.
She's a witch.
Well, she may very well, it may have been a bad day, right? Let's give everybody, maybe she was at the day that was this.
Stop it.
No, I'm ever going to.
She called him a child.
Yes, but if it's at the end of a day where you've had all three kids pulling on you and you're just at the end of your rope, and then people say the wrong things at the wrong time. It happens all the time. I'm not fully defending her, but these things.
Okay, I can see how maybe, possibly, this could maybe happen that way.
I'm just saying, but it's also sad because this happens far too often. Or when men finally do open up about it, and maybe it's our timing. You know, maybe we caught you. Maybe our timing is just colossally horrible, and you know, kind of as a gender thing. The reason we get bad reactions because we always manage to do it on the day where she's at the end of her rope anyway. You know, and so we get. I'm not ruling out these. And life is strange, but this does happen a lot to men. This is why men have difficulty opening up, because when they do, they get shot down. But let's be clear, men aren't angels in this thing. You know, women need our attention, and we're more interested in our video games or fixing our car or working on the fence or build, tinkering in the garage. So we all respond inappropriately when our partner comes to us with some need on occasion. I suppose is more of my point.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
It happens to all of us.
It can happen. Yeah, that's true.
And so
I could see myself doing that.
And so,
but I wouldn't call you a child. I could see myself not engaging, but I wouldn't open my mouth.
Well, not now. What about when you were in your 30s?
Ooh.
See, we've been there, done that. So, but what about in your 30s? Children are screaming and you're fed up because he's been weird the last few days. He finally opens up why he's been weird and you don't have time for it. And you snap, you say something you otherwise wouldn't. And so, no, is it the end of the marriage? No, it's not. As long as you guys can come together later at a time that's, where everybody's not at their, edge and can actually have a discussion about it, then no, your marriage isn't over. Because if you can actually have a honest discussion about the issues, then your marriage isn't over because you can actually deal with it. Yeah. Anything that can be dealt with means it can be dealt with. But if you can't, either you or her can't manage to sit there and deal with it, then where is your marriage going to go? Because if you can't deal with that, you're not going to be able to deal with the stuff that's coming up in 30 years. So,
yeah.
So just deal with it. And that's my suggestion. Take a moment and deal with it. Just, drop as much emotion as you can when you do. Just like the conversation we had earlier, this is the time where men need to park their emotion. And just explain why it hurt you. Yeah.
The one time that I open up to you.
Do not say that. Resist the urge to say that. You can think it all day long. You can feel it in your heart. It is not a productive way to start the conversation. Just not. Because then she's going to feel attacked. So you want to have this conversation without her feeling attacked. Say, hey, when the other day when I was talking to you about it really hurt me when you kind of dismissed it and said you didn't need another child. It was very hard for me to open up to you. And it really, that's how you deal with it. Avoid. I know you're gonna want to one time. I get it. I get it. Don't do that. Oh, please, no. Say that in the mirror or something if you have to. I don't know, but yeah, just don't say that. All right.
Good. Last relationship question.
Okay.
I've been wanting to leave my husband for the past year.
No, wait. 6 years.
6 years. I'm afraid I won't find someone better. What should I do?
Well, finding someone better or not, this should not factor into the choice to leave or not.
No, this is just there's a disconnect here.
Yes. So why does she want to leave her husband? Is she bored?
This is another bored one, yeah.
Well, don't blame your husband for you being bored.
This happens a lot.
Yeah, become more interesting for the love of God.
Why don't you become interesting?
Yeah.
How about, something so you have something to talk about. How's that?
Yeah. Take a class. Go to the local community center and, go do a dance class. You don't need your husband to go to a dance class. You don't need your husband to go to arts and craft class. You don't need your husband to join a walking group, whatever the heck it is.
Why do you think I walk, do yoga? I I do meditation. I read. I watch movies. I don't do anything with the news. I used to, but I can't. Not for the next 4 years. Sorry.
So this just, and yeah, you probably won't find anybody better, because how are you going to attract somebody better if you're always looking for something better? So what should you do? Work on yourself.
Maybe you should, think about why you married him in the first place. Maybe you can fall in love with him again.
Well, she just has nothing to do about love. She's just doesn't appear to be in the equation. She's just looking for something better. Whatever better means. More interesting, more money, more stable. Who knows? She probably doesn't even know. But if she's looking for something better, it's in the mirror. That's where she's going to find something better.
How can you get married without love?
Because you're looking for safety, looking for security, looking for comfort.
Okay, in the Middle Ages.
No, that's fundamental human need. That's built into us. That's genetics. There's a very practical decision.
Okay, I have to admit the feeling of safety that I had around you very quickly was a big attraction. I felt safe.
Yeah.
That was attractive.
Saying. But women look for signals of, access to resources, safety, security, all those things. It's a natural instinct. There's blaming women for that would be just the same as blaming men because they, are attractive through the physical form. It's just the way we've been, genetics has programmed us. So it's silly to be overly judgmental. You would like to think we have have been able to evolve past it, but we're fools to think that. We can mitigate it some through, the use of our brain, but only some. Only some. But so the grass is always greener is my suggestion to her. And so in order for her to find love she can't love her husband until she loves herself. She doesn't love herself. So she needs to figure out and work on herself. That's what she needs to do. And the marriage will either evolve or de-evolve based upon that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Parenting.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Censor that one, right?
Okay. Why can't they just flip and go to bed? Ages 5 and 8.
Yeah. It says every parent in the history of humanity.
There's cave drawings.
Yeah. I'm betting. I mean, there's maybe 2% that get lucky and they got the kids who go to bed all the time on time or whatever. But yeah, welcome to, because everything in the world is new to them. Just think of it from their eyes. You don't want to miss anything. It's just pure age and wonderment. They want to know what's going on. Because they're just little sponges. They're absorbing everything that they see and hear. So going to bed, like turning that off. Why would you want to do that? Like turning off, your favorite game show. Why would you, or a TV show, or why do you want to do that? They haven't been spoiled by the world yet. Everything's still joyous and wondrous. Keep me plugged in. So yeah, I completely understand it. Now, as a parent, it drives you crazy. It just does. So, but my suggestion as a parent is to alter your routines so that you get a lot of physical activity those 2 hours before bedtime. Mm-hmm. You run them like ragged, then you do something that calms them down. That's why there's always a bath time before.
In books. That you read a couple books, you maybe sing a song, give a kiss goodnight.
Yeah.
Turn out the light. That's it.
Whatever. So it's
a routine.
Yeah. So burst of energy, let them get a burst of energy out, burn all some energy, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Let them burn their energy. Then you send them to their bath routine, which helps calm them down. Then after the bath, you do something that's even calmer. Sitting down reading a book, watching a video that doesn't activate their hyper needs. You know which ones those are. Some children's videos, they'll sit down and just kind of quietly watch, and other videos they'll make them bounce around the rooms. Make sure you watch it if you're going to use them. I'm not gonna judge on what your tools you're using. Just use the right ones. Don't use anything that excites them. Yeah. Stuff that's nice and calm. Even in my book, make sure it's a book that's nice and calm. Don't want one that's got a lot of excitement. You don't want a page turner. If you're trying to put the kid to bed. Just saying.
You say that for when they're older and they can sit up and read by themselves later. You read a couple pages and then they get to read and they're allowed to read for, 20 minutes or something.
Yeah. Well, they're allowed to read till they fall asleep. That was always our rule.
Okay.
Yeah. And screw it.
That's what I did.
If they're not reading, what the hell? I'm not going to stop them. They're quietly reading. I ain't stopping nothing. That was mine. So that's what I would do. So alter your routine a bit so that they get a burst of energy. Then they get the wind down period. And yeah. And then some of them never go to bed. My kids never did. They're night owls. So you're just stuck with it. And you adjust your schedules for when they're sleeping. That's what you do. Okay.
The wife is getting the kids excited about a vacation we can't afford. She's making plans for Disneyland, and he keeps telling her we cannot afford it.
Oh, great. And now he gets to be the bad guy. Yeah. But you know what? Sometimes you're the bad guy. It's not right. The wife is being severely wrong here. But trying to bait them into taking
the
kids on a trip they can't afford.
Not okay.
Yeah. And this is one of these things. I have a guess that even if he went and had to talk with her, so there's no way we're going. I mean, you can plan all this all you want. There's no way we're going. She's still going to do it anyway. How old are the kids? Do we know?
No, we don't know.
Well, okay, because if the kids are a little older, then you can just tell the kid yourself, your mother's being your mother, and we're not going to Disneyland. It's just not happening. You can be honest. If the kids are younger, well, then they're going to learn something about their mother. I guess.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yes. There's nothing he can do.
No. All you can do, if they're older and you can have a discussion with your kids, then you can have a discussion with your kids. But if they're younger, they're just going to learn a hard lesson. My guess is the older kids would know anyway. So it's probably younger kids.
They are.
Yeah. All right.
Has anyone tried saying screw it and cooking whatever they want for their toddlers? 3 and 4.
Every second time parent.
Mm-hmm.
Or more. Any children with more than one kid. Yeah, pretty much. You cook whatever they eat, man. Chicken nuggets get cooked a lot with toddlers because it's what they'll eat. Nuggets and French fries. You're lucky you can get some carrots and peas in there with them. That's
cheese.
Yeah, you take whatever they can eat at that stage.
Yogurt.
You try to open them up to as many flavors as possible, but they're only going to want 6 things. If you're lucky, you have one that will eat other things.
Yeah.
But they're only going to want 6. And it's going to be chicken nuggets and French fries. They're going to be 2 of them. Chicken nuggets and French fries are going to be 2 of them. Because kids like chicken nuggets. Just do. So on the plus side, those dino nuggets things are dirt cheap. So just buy a bunch of dino nuggets and Throw them down their gullet. They're kids. They can burn anything. They don't care.
Those aren't real meat.
So there actually is real meat. It's just been centrifuged off the bones and then put together into a. It's just the highly efficient use of every piece of the meat.
Okay.
It's not like it's plastic. It's actual chicken.
Have you tried the tofu ones?
Oh God, no. Why would I do that? Why? What?
Tara she ate for breakfast. She ate tofu with amino acids, but it tasted like soy sauce. And she would dip it and she'd eat tofu for breakfast.
Yeah, well, Anthony would eat dang near anything. So, for any time, he didn't need breakfast, lunch. We were at camping and this is the one thing he said that was a bad idea, but he had a piece of bread, some salami, some cheese, some Oreos, and he put them all into it. And something else, I forget what else, put it into a sandwich and ate it. He said that was a mistake. I forget what it was. It was all kinds of stuff. He just, whatever was left, at the end of the camping, whatever was left, he put it into a sandwich. And so that was a mistake. So, yeah, just whatever they eat is fine. They're at 3 and 4. You try to introduce them, try to habitualize them to vegetables and things. But kids have texture issues a lot of the times. It's really not the taste of vegetables, it's the texture of vegetables they don't like. So that's my suggestion. Yeah, screw it. Cook whatever they want, whatever they'll eat. And then you can add to their palate later. All right.
Can we stop politicizing children? T-shirts. She sees little kids with the MAGA shirt on, and stuff. She's infuriated. Children?
Well, we've been putting children. What do you think when you put the little rainbows on children's clothes mean these days? Do they put the rainbow flags, or are there people walking around with the Palestinian flags on children? There's no difference. This is nothing new. You want to politicize children? Remember the little girl picking the rose flower back in the Johnson commercial? A little girl picking the flower, 1, 2, 3, and then a big nuclear explosion behind her. We've been politicizing children since the beginning of politicizing things. So it's nothing new. Here's my suggestion. Don't worry about what other people are doing with their children. You don't look at it, you don't notice. Other people want to put a political sized message on their child's t-shirt. They can put a political sized message on their child's t-shirt. You don't have to pay attention to it. Stop paying attention to it. Then it'll go away because they're doing it to get attention. Don't give them attention. It's not going to happen. This is how this works. You actually gave them the reaction they were looking for. Congratulations. This is a problem that solves itself if you mind your own business. I'm just saying. Okay.
What songs do or did you sing to your kids?
Oh, well, my children wouldn't let me sing to them, so I can't answer that.
I did the nursery rhymes. And a song that my grandmother sang to me. I love you, a bushel in a peck.
Now, when I tried to sing to my daughter, she'd take her fist and shove it into my mouth, even as a baby. None of my children wanted to hear me sing at all. Can't say I blame them. I'm just saying it didn't happen. So we played all kinds of music.
I think you have sung to me like twice.
Because I can't sing. So, well, that's not true. On occasion, I can for like a minute, but I can't control it, so it's useless.
Because you don't practice.
Well, it's because I'm not all that interested. So, And somehow I think my range is quite limited. I'd have to be very selective about what I'm singing. It's just not worth it to me.
Okay.
So, all right. So yeah, I sung no songs to my kids because they wouldn't want to. They'd just cry. So I played music, and God, who knows what we played. Run DMC. So there you go. Okay.
His son hasn't left the house in nearly 6 months. He's 14.
Why? I'm assuming he's in like homeschooled or remote learning or something.
Yeah, he's remote learning.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's a gamer, and apparently he's kind of popular.
Uh-huh.
And everything is brought to him. He doesn't have to drive anywhere to do anything.
So he's like a gaming streamer or something?
Yeah.
So he's actually even earning money while he's doing this.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, not that he's told his mother about.
Yeah, well, yeah, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. Oh, at 14, he might not be eligible enough to actually earn money off of it. Get him out the house for something fun. Make him go on a family mini golf putt night. Just to do it.
Find something.
Yeah. Hey, ask him tell him he can stream it and record it. Whatever it takes. Get him out the house. Does he have a favorite? Because he doesn't know, because he just wants his dinner delivered. Yeah, go to a mini putt or a golf or bowling or something, Top Golf, something that he can take.
A movie.
No, because he can't stream a movie.
You can stream a movie?
He can't. Don't go to something he can record and stream and re-edit to put up on his streaming thing. Do it in events so you can include what he wants to do.
Okay.
So offer to include his interests with you. That's why mini putt or Top Golf or bowling or something where you could set up a phone on a tripod and kind of thing, and he can at least record, not stream. So let him participate.
Okay. What a great idea.
Yeah, but you may have to make him. But offer it to him. Say, here, look, I know you don't want to do it. So, but we really want to come out and we really want you to come do this. So, but it's okay if you record or stream. We're up for it. We could, go pick one for the team. And if you take one for the team, he'll be more willing to take one for the team with a good attitude. That's my suggestion. So you can actually help participate in his life a little bit too.
Then make memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But make sure you do it with a good attitude, Make sure you have the proper attitude when you ask him. Okay.
Okay, last question. Are they considered nonverbal if they sing out loud but don't communicate?
Yes, because the singing is, I don't want to say involuntary, but it kind of is. Because people who are nonverbal, it's not that they can't make sounds. It's that the speech part of their brain doesn't connect well to the actual verbal sound making. But the singing uses a different part of the brain. That's why some people can sing but are nonverbal, because it's a different part. It's actual different part of the brain. It's connected to a musical part of the brain, not the verbal part of the brain.
Now, I have heard of some instances where people who have children who've had severe stuttering have found that they can sing words rather than
because
they can't speak because it's a different part of the brain.
Yeah, it's a different part of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so don't confuse those two things. There's a musical part of the brain, which is what people use when they sing, and then there's the speech particles, and that's the connection that gets all screwed up in the nonverbal people. So it's not unusual at all. Verbal means can you sit there and speak and hold a conversation. That's what verbal means. Doesn't mean that they can't make sound. That's a mute. That's a different thing. Yeah. So, okay. All right. We got work questions now.
Work questions.
Oh, woo!
Anyone else get annoyed when their coworkers don't do their job?
Well, yeah, everybody on the planet.
Yeah.
So I'm not, that's an easy question to answer. What do you do about it? Nothing, just like everybody else on the planet.
Just keep in your lane and just keep your head down and focus on your job and your career and you'll be fine.
Yeah, your work ethic has nothing to do with anybody else's.
Yeah.
That's, it's you do the job you do because of you, not because of anybody else. Okay.
How do you respond when someone at work says they're concerned for your well-being, but it feels disingenuous?
Sarcasm. Yeah, that's how I respond.
You're so good at it too.
So, one, you can just ignore it. Ignoring it is probably the best way to go about it. Not giving people the response they're looking for is generally the best.
I'd sit there and stare at them blankly for a second. Count of 10. Or get up and walk away.
That's nice, Bob. And just move on,
Thank you, dear.
Yeah. Well, bless your heart. Respond in kind. There you go.
There you go.
Well, bless your heart. I appreciate the concern.
We came to the better one eventually, didn't we?
Yeah, we always do.
Yeah.
If we kick it around enough times, we come to the one. All right, what's next?
Help, my nose is being held hostage for the next 2 weeks. Training someone with bad breath.
Well, you can offer them Altoids and mints.
Yes, you can.
And things like that. Gum, But sometimes it's just one of those things you have to deal with. Just is. Sometimes it may not be a hygiene thing. It could be a medical issue. So, sometimes you just have to learn to deal with it. Just think about it this way. Some people have to work in the sewer. So there you go. All right. What's next?
How common is it for a large employer to supply Kleenex boxes to their employees? Okay. Now they used to supply the Kleenex boxes, but then now they're not.
It's called budget cuts. Yeah. Welcome to 2025. Buy your own Kleenex. Don't worry about it. If your biggest issue at work is that if they'd stop buying you Kleenex boxes, consider yourself lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Just realize the world you're living in today. Okay, people are getting laid off all over the place. Even jobs that used to be considered highly secure, our people are now getting laid off. For right or for wrong, I'm not making a judgment on that, but understand the world you're living in today. So the fact that your biggest complaint is Kleenex boxes, count your blessings and move the heck on.
Yes.
I get it. It's a change. I used to get Kleenex boxes. Go to the dollar store and buy a bunch of Kleenex things and slow them in your drawer. Don't let it bother you. My suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay.
How to stop having breaks with coworkers. You quit smoking.
Just stop having breaks with coworkers. I don't understand. I get that sometimes. There we go. I get that sometimes you still want to be friendly with people, but now you've quit smoking, and the last thing you want to do is go out and hang out with the smokers. But you've quit smoking, so you don't need to go hang out with the smokers.
Can I make my announcement about quitting smoking?
Sure.
Guess what? Tomorrow will be the 24th. March 24th is 1 year with no cigarettes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, see, there you go. Yay. Wait, which one is these little applause? I have an applause on. That's a laugh track. Okay. Oh, wait, that wasn't even up. Oh, man. I didn't even turn. Oh, it was turned up. Sweet. Okay. There we go. You got a short applause.
Thank you.
I think.
I appreciate it.
I think that was the applause button.
Well, the intent was there.
We'll find out when we listen to this later.
Okay.
All right. So you just stop having breaks with coworkers. There's nothing to stop. Your coworkers know you quit smoking. They know you're not gonna go smoke with them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They'll respect it. So don't worry about it. Just go to the break room and eat your Twinkies or whatever it is you're doing instead of smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Everybody, most of them, the vast majority will be encouraging. Right?
Of course they will. They are.
Yeah. So don't worry. Don't make an issue out of one that's not.
But she's afraid not going out there with them is she's not part of the team anymore.
No, that's not what they're not going to view it that way. They're going to view that they're trying to stop smoking and you don't want to go hang out with a bunch of smokers. They get it. They're all smokers. Most of them have probably been there. At least once.
Yeah.
They've tried to stop smoking at least once. So don't worry. Don't make an issue that's not there. Everybody's going to be supportive. Everybody knows exactly what's happening. You don't even need to explain yourself. People just know. So do whatever you need to do to break that habit, because that's a difficult time. That's a habit time. That's the danger zone, right? Those are those times that are dangerous. Because it's not even because it's the desire for a cigarette, the physical need also matches with the habitual need. And so those are difficult times.
They're very big, hard ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever you need to do it. If you need to secretly work through it so you don't have to think about it, secretly work through it so you don't have to think about it. Go sit in the break room and eat your whatever food you're using, gummy worms or whatever it is you're using. Whatever it is you got to do. Congratulations, and everybody will support you on that. Don't worry about them feeling like you've abandoned them or anything. It's not. They know what's happening. Okay.
If they make my job more efficient, they would save so much money. How come they don't do that?
Well, it depends.
Like a lot of this work is just repetitive. It's overlaid. People are doing things over and over again, over each other.
Well, sometimes some of that is done as a QA process. So many people look at it so they can tell if something's gone wrong.
Okay.
Can't afford to have a mistake. So that 4 people, 5 people will look at it at different times. But usually what happens is no one has a big overview of anymore. The person who set up the original process is long gone. Then they're out doing something else. Then they've gotten things added to it, and other roles have been added to it, and no one knows. Probably even forgotten why you're doing what you're doing. I would even guess there's no overview anymore. And the danger with that is, at some point, someone's going to look at this and go, this doesn't make any sense. We need to go in and fix this. And you're going to lose half of the people working there because their jobs don't need to be there. Quite literally. We were listening to a parody song earlier, right? And they said, my job takes 1, so we have 2. It happens, right? Mm-hmm. And part of that is, okay, if it's a mission critical job, you need to, because you can't rely on one guy, because one person can get sick. Mm-hmm. One person can get in a car accident. One person can get hit by a bus, whatever it is. So you need redundancy. So there is some of that. But there's often too much redundancy, or redundancy in places that don't need redundancy. So it's a balance. And unless there is someone to oversee that, someone who understands the whole process, then bloat happens. And when bloat happens, you see what's happening in the world today. All you have to do is look at the news and see what happens when bloat happens. Stuff gets spent, money gets spent weird ways, and money can't even be tracked. No one knows what's really being done. There's so many hands in the pies. Can't even tell what's right or wrong anymore because nobody knows. And that's what he's experiencing. So what do? You're probably just a cog in the wheel. There's probably nothing you can do. No. Or you can become good at your job so you can get into the position where you can do something about it. Which, well, theoretically anyway, put you in position to do something even bigger. So if you're ambitious, that's the way to go. Put yourself in a position where you can do something about that. Then when you solve that problem, people upstairs, hey, this guy solved a problem we didn't even know we freaking had. and it made, all right, so now you're on the upper management's radar. If you're an ambitious ladder climber, it's the other way to do it. But if you're just a cog in the wheel, you just do your job, knowing full well that at some point all this is going to come crashing down and you may be collateral damage. But as long as you understand that, you won't be surprised. So, yeah. Okay.
How to kill time at work?
By doing your job. It's the easiest way to kill time at work.
Well, they want to be done at 4:30. And kind of just kill that last, half hour, that dead time.
Okay, so what are they doing? If this is entirely dependent upon what you're doing.
Office worker.
You're an office worker. That's the time you pick up and organize for the next day. You organize for the next day is what you do. Clean up your desk. Make sure your desk is all clean. You organize your charts. You go through your calendar. Just kind of make sure you're ready for the next day.
I used to go through my schedule for the next day and had that laid out on my desk. I had files pulled that I would need for the next day sitting there on my other table.
Now, see, I don't understand this concept, though, because I leave it. My time's up, and whatever mess I'm working on, it gets left right there. Because I never have time. Oh, well, I'm done. The chance I get where I have time left over at the end of my day to do anything. Now, I will selectively choose what I will do near the end of the day. I've got this laundry list of things to do. What am I going to do? What am I going to work on? I'll do that. Kind of selectively choose. But I don't understand the concept of not having something to always do. I've always got 10 things to do. And if I thought about it, I probably had 10 more that I just aren't on my list yet because I got 10 things on my list. Just how my life goes. One thing, yeah, even if I get stuff done, it just means there's room for something else. That's all. That's
maybe one of those number C ones. You guys, do you prioritize A, B, and C?
I prioritize what needs to get done now.
Oh, you're working on that premise. That's a tough one.
Generically speaking, well, sometimes like I have a class or something coming up and I'll have to do some pre-work and I'll have to make time to, all right, schedule 2 hours or whatever for me to do something. So I'm not doing it at the last minute. So I have time to QA it and process it and go over it. But even that's I have to do this now. So I have time to do those others. So even that is a now thing. Got to do it now. So I have enough time to go through all this stuff later. So So no, everything's priority one. What are you talking about? Is C priorities? I don't have C priorities. Like there's no such thing.
I had a boss. He goes, you're not allowed to do C's because they never get done. So A's, they're all A's.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no,
some A's are less than.
We're not going to do that.
No, everything there's a big long list. Everything on that list needs to get done, and there's The list gets moved around on occasion, but it's just the list. One comes off, another comes on. It's just endless list of stuff. But just means I'm busy. Yeah. All right. That is it for some work questions this week. Good Lord. Okay. We're on to some intimacy questions now.
All right. I best when she tells me she loves me. Okay, she whispers sweet nothings in his ear and he just loses it.
Uh-huh.
Because he's just so in love with her. Now they're 18. They are of age.
Yeah.
Okay. They're very young.
Yeah. Well, that's why. Any extra stimulation and soft breathing in the ear is extra stimulation at 18. Like a badly built rifle. He's ready to go off at any time. Doesn't take much. So, but he's 18. It doesn't matter. He can,
he can recover.
Yeah, it's fine. So, yeah, welcome to the world, I guess. I'm not sure there's much to talk about there. Yes, that's normal. How's that?
Okay.
Yeah.
It is. It's normal.
Yeah, there's nothing abnormal about that.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you have sex when you're fat? She's bored. So there's only like 2 ways that she can have it.
Well, I suspect there's probably more. You're gonna have to do some research.
Okay.
There's nothing that hasn't been solved, so just go and try to solve it. So.
Can't believe you can't Google that.
Well, you probably can, but God knows what you're going to come up with. You might have to go to page 30 or something to find it. But, in the age of AI, go find a non-censored AI, like Grok or something that's not censored, and you can ask that kind of question. They can even do deep searches and deep thinks nowadays. So, that's just as a place to start. And just go ask an AI. My question, my suggestion. Okay. But it's a problem with a solution. Just have to find it. Okay.
More exciting nudes for the boyfriend.
Why does he need more exciting?
She feels like she's boring.
He just wants to see you nude. You don't need to do anything special. Same.
I'm sorry, but he's not going to notice a new hairstyle. Nail polish. Belly button ring.
No.
Well,
I mean, he might if that's his thing, but
lingerie.
Depending upon it, most lingerie doesn't make you look as good to us as it does for you guys, not for us.
Okay.
Because you put it in the stuff, you cover up the stuff we want to see. It makes no sense to us.
High heels?
If he likes that kind of thing.
What about the garter belts and stuff?
If he likes that kind of thing.
Okay. Huh.
But the biggest secret is if you're feeling better and confident, you look more sexy and confident. And so we're going to see that. It's got nothing to do with, that's what's important.
Attitude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can even play the shy girl if you do it with the right attitude. It's going to be just as sexy.
Ooh, goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put the arm over the. Yeah. You just have some fun with it. Is be my suggestion. Sometimes less is more.
Ooh, tease. There you go. All right.
Yeah. Just saying.
All right. That's a lot of ideas for her.
Yeah.
Right? And for everybody else out there.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Is the urge to masturbate normal? It's her first vibrator, and she can't put it down.
Well, yes, that's relatively normal at the first. I mean, yeah. we all go through we all go through stages where, it's the urge is more prevalent than other times.
Yeah.
It just is. And, that first time, yeah, you'll get bored with it and you'll move on. It's like anything else, and it'll go down into
It's just exciting and new right now. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't worry about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't overly worry about it.
Yeah.
Unless it starts doing like anything, it starts interfering with the rest of your lives. Like anything else. That's when it becomes a problem.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Girlfriend told me her orgasm trigger is to think about when she was in a. Can I say that?
Well, we probably could, but in a group setting.
In a group setting, yes. There we go.
Yep.
How
the center of attention in a group setting. Let's be that.
There we go. Ooh, yeah, that's more accurate. Yeah. Okay. How do I come to terms with it?
Well, I'm assuming this happened before, and there's nothing to come to terms with.
It was before you.
Yeah, that's one of those things. That's when it's before you. You have to just to kind of accept it or not. There's nothing you can come to terms with.
It's her thing, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can either, grow up and accept that everybody has a past, including you, likely, or not. And sadly, if you react poorly, she's never going to tell you her desires again. Remember we talked about earlier about getting shut down when you open up to someone about something difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You think this is easy for her to discuss?
But she's trying to grow closer to you, believe it or not.
Yeah. She's being honest with you. Would you rather have her not told you? There's the other way to look at it. Would you rather have not known? Would you rather her not tell you? Would you rather it be a secret? Is that the relationship you would prefer to have? Or one where you're able to be open and discuss things openly and like an adult? I'm just saying, one of those is better than the others, just objectively speaking. Hey, I'm not saying it's easier. I'm saying it's better. Right? Better is rarely easier. So there's no how to come to terms with it. You just come to terms with it. If you love somebody, you accept who they are. That means everything they've been through. That means if they fantasize about something that they're not going to engage in the future, well, then you let them do it.
It was once in a lifetime thing, and it was way out of the ordinary.
Even if it's not a once, but maybe she had flings all the way through college. Who cares? She's now out of college.
And the point is, she's with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we discussed this earlier. It's kind of, you have to accept these things. Human nature. You either can deal with it or you can't. So they're in their late 20s, 27, 28. So, deal with it is my suggestion.
This is where it gets real.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Last question. Is it normal to, for lack of a better phrase, go at it like rabbits? And there is no age on this.
Well, no, my assumption is they're early in their relationship. And then, of course, yes, it is. Yeah, perfectly normal. That's kind of why it exists. It makes those emotional connections. It means you are more likely to stay together, historically speaking. Biologically speaking, we're talking about, evolutionary biology here.
Yes. That's
the reason you do that is the biology trap. Then next thing you know, one of you's pregnant and they've got you trapped forever. That's the evolutionary trap, man. It's not a matter. It's evolution, man. Trap is both. Traps man and woman in these things. I don't know what you want from us, but that's what they get us. It's just true. It's kind of blunt if you think about it, but we're just animals, and all right, how do we get these animals? And not that evolution is thinking, but this is what evolution needed. All right, these people take a long time to become useful animals, right? A baby takes a long time. So how do we keep these two people together? How do we keep these two monkeys together for long enough so that this other monkey can survive on its own? Well, all right, when they're brand new together, they'll go at it like rabbits, which will create an emotional bond, which will also at the same time likely create this thing that they have to take care of together because it's hard to do it apart. And it all makes sense when you look at it in hindsight. Of course, evolution didn't have any hindsight. It just kind of happened. But
even Einstein said there's a hand here.
Could be. I'm not going to rule it out, but I don't know. It just seems a little hit and miss for a hand thing as well. I'm just saying because there's too wide a variety in nature. Too many strategies in nature. Nature took a lot of different strategies on this. Or God. Nature or God. Maybe they're both the same. Who knows? Maybe nature and God. Maybe it's the same thing. Maybe evolution is the hand of God. Don't know. Right? God rolled the dice, and who knows? And set everything in motion.
Like winding a watch and then letting it
go. Whatever metaphor, euphemism you want to use, right? It's so the nature of the hand of God. Maybe it's the same thing. They were all talking semantics. Who knows? I don't know. And in the grand scheme of things, I'm personally not all that interested anymore. Used to be. But.
I know. And I have devout faith. This is what you call a mixed marriage.
But anyway, I don't even remember where I was going about it. Anyway, so since I lost my train of thought, we'll end the show. I forgot where I was going with that.
Well, I do want to say your hair is really amazing tonight. It was really.
No, well, see, there we go.
Looking great.
That's why I didn't put it up then. I thought I was just being lazy.
No, looking good.
No. All right. So in that case, make sure you go watch this thing. You can look at my hair. All right. For me and Lovey, thank you for joining us. Join us next week where we'll talk about who the hell knows. And have a good night. And please remember to love everybody.